All right, everybody. Aloha Friday. Welcome to the show. I am excited because, hey, we don't have a guest today, but we will be talking about some important things specifically around goals and goal setting. But we are still celebrating the Hispanic Heritage Month all the way through the 15th. And if you know anything about Hispanics, we're going to be celebrating that every day till the 15th and even maybe a little farther. But thank you for being with us today on Aloha Friday Live. If you are viewing us on any of the platforms, whether it's LinkedIn, YouTube, Parade Deck, Facebook, we would love to see you chime in, get in the comments, and let us know where you are coming in from, where you're viewing from. And as we go into the discussion about goals, if you feel inclined to make a comment or get into that discussion, maybe ask a question, we would love to see that as well. Now, today we had a guest, couldn't make it, but guess what? The show must go on, and we are still talking about great leaders in the Hispanic community during this month. So for all those that are out there doing great things, congratulations and thank you for what you bring to the table as far as this world is concerned. I want to make you aware of something that's going on tonight that I had the privilege of being part of, and I'll put that up on the screen. I was part of this project with Refugio Atilano. We call him Ref for those that know him, the Latino Leadership Playbook. And tonight, they're going to be up there in Chicago going live and doing a book launch party and signing. There's a lot of folks that are attending. So if you happen to be in that area, want to go check out that book, want to go check out the authors, by all means, get down there and join them at that location. We're so happy to be part of that project where a good amount of leaders got together from across the country and imparted their knowledge, their experience as it relates to what it is to be a Latino leader in today's time, and all the things that they were able to not only learn but now are imparting on others. So Refugio, thank you so much for allowing me to be part of that, and congratulations to everybody on this book launch. We're excited to get it out and into your hands. Now, I wanted to talk about goals because this morning, I have a 5 mile walk routine, and usually it's every other day. I don't get to that every other day. Sometimes there's a couple of days in between. But today I went out and I knew that I have another podcast that I do, the Leadership Void podcast, which is the military centric, military family, first responders, things of that nature. But it still deals with leadership. And I knew that I was recording at 10. Well, in the mornings, I take my daughter to her job and I'm back usually by 8:30 or so. And I said, man, you could try to get your 5 miles in, or you could risk that you don't do it. And then maybe later on, come up with some type of excuse as to why not. And so I said, okay, well, I have an hour before I have to definitely be ready for this recording. And I said, you know what? Let me just give it my best. I'll get out there and, you know, go half hour down and then half hour back because I have to do this within an hour and, try to get at least something in. um and the floods of excuses start, right? Yeah, well, oh man, well, you're gonna be tired, or hey, you're gonna go down there, and what about if you get injured, can't get it back in time. Man, you're gonna be sweaty, you can't shut the sweat off right quick, and you have to do this recording. And you start getting all these things to start to try to impede you from getting to your goal. And my goal today was to stay on track, get my 5 miles in, and if not the 5 miles, at least give it a good effort of an hour, because that's what I had, and get it done, and get back and keep going with my day. So, the first thing in goal setting is that you got to know what goal that is. If you don't know your goals, nobody can tell you your goals. So, it's difficult to get anything done in your life if you don't have that goal in mind. If you can't see it, you can't read it, you can't hear it, you can't feel it. Those goals become wishes, right? And I don't know about you, but I have not seen a wishing well that people got stuff from, or a lamp where people rub things and got a wish. I have not seen it. I'm sure it's in a fairy tale somewhere, but that's about as far as that has been. Wishes are not things that you can actually, uh, uh, you know, put a mark in and go and get. But a goal is something that you can say, hey, I want to achieve this. And I'm going to put that out there. And then I'm going to map my trajectory to that this and do some work in regards to this so that I can get there and attain it. And so my goal was 5 miles every other day. Uh so anyway, I put on my shoes, I get ready, I got my walking clothes on, and I head out the door. And I knew that I was against the clock. So right promptly at 8:30, I was out. And got my tracker on, got my music going, and I'm hitting it. Well, one thing that I noticed today was different from any other day is that because I had the time crunch, I stepped out and I went out there, and I was getting it. Those strides were fast, and I was like, okay, all right, this is good. And so I said, well, I started thinking, I said, well, this is a faster pace that you have been keeping since you started this. You got to be careful that you don't pull a muscle, or this is fast. And I said, well, as long as I don't feel anything in my body that is indicating that I'm going against myself, right, or what I'm capable, I'm gonna keep this thing up. And so there I go. I'm gone. And music's going, everything's going. And I said, well, all I have to do is get to 30 minutes. And when I get to 30 minutes, I'm sure going to turn this thing around. Don't know where that is, but I'm going to go and get this. And so I'm gone. And hey, my body accepted the pace. And so I was going. And, on the way, I love to talk to the Lord. So I'm talking, I'm praying, I'm doing this and that and the other. And I get to I say, it was about the 20-minute mark, and I'm gone. And I'm like, wow, I'm further down the road than I thought I would be about this time. And I got about 10 minutes to go. I could probably get to that bridge, that I get to every time. And there's a bridge, and right after the bridge, I say it's a quarter mile, and that's my turnaround point. I was like, I might be able to get to this bridge. Now, the bridge did not represent my turnaround point, right? The turnaround point's farther down. But I could see a point where I started thinking, well, shoot, I might be able to get farther than I thought. And so I'm still on my pace. I got this intermediate goal point, which is another thing you have to consider when you're talking about goals. Do you have points in between that can help you understand that you are doing better or you're doing worse than what you thought in that goal journey. It's important to have those points in between because they are significant. What happened when I put that goal point there and I could see it was that I started to become encouraged because I knew the time I was investing in this was leading me to successful outcomes. And that midpoint uh, prior to my turnaround signified to me that I was doing better than I would have hoped to. And I started feeling different. I started feeling empowered and I started getting it. And I said, okay, I'm gonna get this bridge. I'm starting to get to the bridge and I pull my tracker up and I'm looking and it said I had 5 minutes to my turnaround point, my half hour. And I'm like, 5 minutes? I said, shoot, I could get past this bridge and I bet I can get to my turnaround point in that time. So, boom, I passed the bridge. Once I passed the bridge, it said I had 3 minutes. And I said, whoa, I could see the turnaround point now. And I was like, oh my goodness, I might get this 2.5 mile mark in less than half hour. And I'm walking, right? And I will tell you, it was a stride, right? I was getting it. But I started to see that, hey, not only am I keeping this pace, not only is my body allowing me to do this, but my mind has accepted that I could reach this goal even faster than I thought. And so I kept going. So now I get to the turnaround point, which is the 2.5 miles for me. And I looked at my marker again and it said that I got there in 28 minutes. I was like, what? I have 2 minutes to spare? Oh my goodness. So I turned around, I'm happy, right? So I'm going. And this is the funny thing. Felicia, thank you for being with us. Yeah, the alignment of body and mind is a thing. I'm telling you. Let me put that up there because it's true. It's true. So all things are aligned. Things are going. And I already just said I made my turnaround point 2.5 miles in 28 minutes. And I was like, whoa. So I turned that thing around and I say, okay, I'm good because now I got 2 minutes to spare. Let me tell you, you got to be careful. You got to be careful when you're going towards goals and you start thinking that you got it in the bag. Because I don't know what happened between that time I hit that 2.5 miles at 28 minutes and I made that turn. Something happened that I would equate to I got cocky. Right? I got over optimistic. I got so happy that I started to allow my body to relax a bit. And I stopped keeping the tempo. It wasn't because I was tired, because I got to 2.5 miles. I wasn't winded whatsoever. But when I did that turnaround and I got full of myself, something started to happen. And what happened was that I could feel my body getting comfortable. And although in my mind and what I was seeing was the same performance getting to, it was definitely not the same performance going from. And so, you know, that old adage, what got you here won't get you there. That's what started to happen. And I started feeling different. And the optimism started kind of like switching. And I'm like, whoa, what happened? Because I was just cooking. And now I'm feeling some stuff. So I'm going, and I looked at I get to the point where I realized coming that I could get to the turnaround point uh, within time. I started to look and I said, whoa, my pace has gone down. But to me, it felt like I was performing the same. And so this is the caution here for leaders. You got to check yourself in intervals, because you may think that you're performing at a level higher than what you actually are. And if you don't have a way to gauge your performance, what you're going to think is that you're hitting at all cylinders, and your people are going to tell you otherwise. So if you place something within how you operate to give you an opportunity to check yourself, you will be able to be a more effective and efficient leader. So here I go. I'm on my way back. I would say I'm about 35 minutes or so. And I said, okay, well, it's obvious that the pace has changed. What can I do to continue to be able to finish this thing, you know, at a decent pace, right? At a decent pace. Um, yeah, I should have said check yourself, because that's what it equates to, right? That you have to check yourself. As a leader, you got to check yourself. If you don't check yourself, you're gonna get checked, and that's even worse. So, yeah. So thank you for that. So if you don't have these opportunities built into what you're doing to give you a true assessment of your performance, a true assessment of your pace, then what'll happen is your body will get comfortable with its surroundings. You know, I had to do a couple of things. The first thing I had to do was not be distracted by anything. No cars pass. I was just looking at the pavement, looking at the pavement and getting it. So I had to bring in some focus, right? In goal setting, if you don't have things that'll help you focus, you will be distracted. And so I started to focus, and I focus on the road, and I'm going. I started to focus on the stride. The stride has slowed down, so I had to come up and get that stride back. So in order to keep the same pace coming back. Well, I get to about 45 minutes, and I'm like, I'm far. I am far from my goal. And it took me more time coming back. And I said, boy, if you don't do something now, between now that you're looking at this marker that is 45 minutes and where you're supposed to go, you're going to be late. And by late, I mean I wasn't going to have enough time to get home, take a shower, get ready for the next show, and get recording if I did not do something. And I said, okay, well, you've been walking all this time. It's time to put some little a jogging. Have you ever had to change the course of your day because something was not matching? And so I normally walk. I don't like specifically to jog because I think the impact on knees and things like that are just not worth it, right? I used to be a cross country runner. I've ran myself to the ground. And I've learned that, hey, you can get about the same thing if you just do a speedy walk. So anyway, I said, yeah, you might not like this, brother, but you are about to start jogging. And there I went. I started jogging. And I started putting that into the mix. And sometimes in goal setting, you don't anticipate to put some things in the mix, but you as a leader, you have to be ready to put some things in the mix. Have those things on the side. Have them at the ready, as we would say in the military. Have them at the ready because you may need to pull something out of a bag and throw it in the mix in order for you to keep your goal, keep your pace, right? Keep yourself motivated. And so I brought that out and I started jogging. And I'm jogging, but I'm looking at distance, the time, the effort, and whoo, it started to whoop me. And I'm like, whoo, I haven't breathed this hard in a while. And I had to adjust. Okay, when do I need to put in the jog? When do I need to stop? And so I said, hey, you're now you're looking at the end. So just jog until you can't no more, and then keep walking. And I realized that as I was going, having a plan B, which was jog and then walk, if you have to, having a plan B became an excuse. Now I don't know about you, but having a plan B sometimes is not good. Unusual for a leadership developer to say that, but I'm telling you, when you don't have nothing but a plan A and you have no alternative, this is you succeed or you fail. Um, it's a motivator. So what I started to do was I removed my plan B. I said, no, uh, you have a deadline. You have to get to this place, your house, by this time. You don't have the luxury of executing plan B. So as I was jogging, I was feeling this thing. And I started to tell myself, push through the pain. Push through the pain because on the other side of this is success. So push. And I was telling myself, my body was hurting. my, my body was telling me, bro, where's plan B, C, D? It was asking for anything. But I removed that and I started telling myself, push through the pain. And I did. I pushed through the pain. When I got to the house, I had looked at, and I'm gonna try to get that on here, uh, if I can, but and I'll do that here as I continue to talk. So I was just like push through the pain because number one, you have somebody waiting on you to record this next session that I had. Number two, you got to give yourself enough time. And if you don't push through the pain, what you're going to do is you're going to subtract from that you already have, built in. And so I'm gonna try to push this over uh so that I could see it. But let me try to get that on here. This is what I love about technology. Everything's like at your fingertips, right? Um, but as I was going through that process, I'm not going to tell you that it was fun. I'm not going to tell you that it was easy. What I'm going to tell you is that when you don't have a plan B, you get it done or you don't. I have an option not to. I just had to. And the funny thing is that Had I not had the knowledge of that I learned, right? I learned push through. It's not something that just came out of me. And so for folks that are having goals, folks that are trying to strive for better, folks that are trying to get to a, a, a greater good for themselves, you have to start learning some things. And had I not learned push through, I wouldn't be able to tell myself that. But I learned it and I brought it out when I needed it. So here I go, pushing through. I want to bring up what my tracker said when I hit stop when I hit my house. So you can see it says the pace for my 5.15-mile walk was 7 minutes and 56 seconds. Now, that's a mile. I'm going to tell you, in the military, the fastest I ever ran was 9 minutes and 12 seconds, and that was a mile and a half. So that is not 7 miles 56 seconds. I was cooking. Now you can't see the time here, but it was 1 hour 5 minutes and 6 seconds. Or yeah, and the calories and nothing. But that 5-minute walk / run at the end, right? Because I was jogging, was the best performance I have ever had out there running or walking 5 miles. That pace is astronomical. I don't know how that calculated that way, but that's how it calculated it. And when I hit stop at my door, when I was in front of my door, I was like, whoa. And yeah, I might hit some Bengay or something Tiger Balm in the evening. But as a testament, when you're talking about goal setting, whatever it is that you have as a goal, not only do you have to get ready to and prepare for whatever it is that you want, you have to be able to have the right gear, right? Had I wore different shoes or whatever, you have to be ready for the right gear for that task. You have to take ample time for that task. You have to motivate yourself, right? Because I was walking by myself. I had to motivate myself. Like King David, I had to motivate and encourage myself. You also have to have some type of education, some thoughts, some scripture sometimes, in order to speak to yourself during the process. You got to focus. You gotta tell yourself some things. You can't have a plan B. If you have a plan B, okay, but remember, plan B is a default. That's a in case I don't succeed. You either want to succeed or you don't. And a lot of times there are things that require a plan B, and I encourage that. But there are some things that you must not bring in a plan B if you want to achieve it. And you'll notice that when you don't have a plan B, excuses start flying out the door. When they come in, hey, but what about this? Whoop, you kick that out. I understand that. That's okay. But we got to get to this thing. And you also have to understand that you may have to bring in different methods to help you get to that goal. At the end, I was done in time. I was ready for my recording. I got it done. And, the rest is history. Now I got this little graphic that tells me how well I did, right? I feel good. I'm sure that my body will tell me something different here as the night progresses. But I got it done. And at the end of the day, when it comes to goal setting, you either got it done or you didn't. That's it. And the more you remove excuses from why you shouldn't or why you should do this, the closer you'll get to actually getting your goals completed. And so, this particular Aloha Friday Live doesn't have a guest, but I hope that my journey today, as I was trying to get this thing done, this 5 miles, has given you some type of either motivation or perspective as to how to at least address your goals. And for those that were with me or with me on YouTube or with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, thank you for taking this time out to share this moment with me. And that's it. That's all I got. Unless you guys out there want to say something or comment on something. I do want to remind everybody, hey, this is Aloha Friday Live. What you see behind me is Diamond Head off of Waikiki. Want to remind everybody to keep the people of Maui in your prayers. There's a lot of unanswered questions out there. My heart goes out to them. My prayers to the Ohanas out there suffering this, not having some place to be at, and the government doing what they do sometimes, right? Just my prayers for them and with them during this hard time of lack, right? Because they just are lacking right now. Just keep them in your prayers. Want to remind you of the book launch tonight. If you are in the Chicago area, want to drop by and tell them how great they're doing, that'd be nice. We would appreciate it. And so this book launches today. Next week, I have another book that I was fortunate to participate in, which will be released within the next couple of weeks. That'll be out, and I'll give everybody the information they need to get it. Great book projects. Thank you both for allowing me to be part of that. So let me see. All right. So this is the end. I'm going to cut it short, 35 minutes or so. I really appreciate everybody for being with me. Thank you for the comments, Felicia. Thank you for all that you are doing out there. I wish you a happy and prosperous Friday. Aloha Friday, everybody. Be safe. Enjoy your weekend. But know that we want you back, right? We want you nice and safe. A couple of things on DTLW Podcast. If you go to our YouTube channel at DTLW Podcast, you'll see that we are 3 shy of 500. 3 people to subscribe and be listeners or watchers of our YouTube channel. I would appreciate it. What happens at 500 is that not only do we get to that goal, but we also ignite or release a book launch. That book launch is a signed author autograph book that will go to one of the subscribers that was between 401 to 500. We're going to randomly select a winner and get that book, that signed authored copy book, to them. And so we would appreciate that. If you are a fan of Parade Deck, you can follow me on Parade Deck at the address scrolling on the bottom. My number 731. You can follow me there and get enriched every week as we do Aloha Friday Live. So we are at the end of our show. Yeah, I see. Goal setting is so important. Yes, it is, Shelly. Thank you, sister, for jumping on with me. All right, folks. Aloha Friday. Be safe, be blessed, and we will see you next week with our next guest that is coming. God bless you all.